Mic'd up.
Hello, Yankees Coast-to-Coast fans. We appreciate you. We're happy that you're here. And we are ready to talk Yankee baseball, playoff baseball. I have my friend Mike Miller here.
I'm not your friend.
I have my brother, my sister, Mike Miller here. Happy to enjoy the time with you, my friend. I am really excited about this. Are you excited? Come on, man. This is going to be great.
Well, I think I'm having flashbacks to the 70s is what I'm having, to be honest with you.
Did you ever go to a game? Did you go to a playoff game?
I've gone to many playoff games.
I mean, back then when we were kids?
I did go to a few when we were kids, but not too many. I mean, it went, not too many.
My first one was the 70. What was it? 77. The first game I ever went to, a playoff game, was when McRae took out
Willie
Randolph at second base, which was to me one of the great plays ever. Just fantastic fun. And then I saw him, and then I saw Munson hit one into Monument Park, the old actually not Monument Park, into the old flag
Monument
area, the flagpole
Yeah.
that they used to have in left center. And to date, I had never seen anybody hit a ball that far. It was 430 back then.
Yeah.
So it
was a homer, or went over the fence, or just rattled around
over the fence. No, the old days, they took it off. They took the monuments, and they took the flagpole off of the field for the new ballpark. So like
Right.
I think we saw, to maybe
Did it go over the
77.
fence beyond? It went over the fence beyond the flagpoles.
It just landed right in the flagpole
Yeah.
zone in left center, right beyond the 430 mark. So it was. You got to see it. You should go. In fact,
well, I think
I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna pull it up here.
I can't remember if it's a false memory or not, but I think I was at the game when Killebrew hit one that Mercer was chasing around back then.
Oh, that's a great that's a famous one, man.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a false memory or not. Maybe somebody implanted it in my head. Who knows? I got so many voices in there. Who the hell knows what's really going on?
Let's see. Playoff, home run.
Oh, so I got a mental eggplant story for you before we get really into the topic of the day. So we're playing our last game of the season, and I'm pitching, and I've allowed like one run through 6 innings, through 6 1/3, and all of a sudden, a little kid is in the stands banging a stick against the metal stands. Totally distracts me. Totally lost it. Lost the strike zone. I turned around to the umpire, and I was like,
what?
I just totally lost the strike zone. And I said I turned to the umpire, Eddie, who umpires a lot of our games. I said, Eddie, I am such a mental eggplant. And he just starts hysterical laughing. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, I can't say anything. The kid's just being a kid back there. He's banging a stick against the stands as he runs around. I said, I'm not going to yell at him. I'm not going to say stop it. I'm not going to tell the umpire to stop it. I said, I'm just a mental eggplant. I've totally lost the strike zone and all focus because of that kid. And he just starts dying laughing. And then the game ends, and I talked to the umpire that was behind the plate, Bert, and he says to me, oh, yeah, I missed a couple of calls because that kid was banging back there. He said, totally distracted me, too.
Well, get rid of the kid. Get rid of him.
You're not going to say anything. It's a little 5-year-old kid running around in the stands.
Tell him to get lost. Go tell him. What you do is you go out there and you go, hey, who's this kid belong to?
No, he's a 5-year-old. Even I won't get mad at the kid. But it was really funny. And as usual, when I pitch, my team wins. So, when I'm not there, they lose or tie. And when I'm there, we win. And I really think
we have used you.
I think we win because I'm not playing defense personally, but that's a different story.
That is entirely possible. We're removed from the playoff. We didn't even get a playoff berth. Our playoff berth, get a load of the rules.
Isn't there only 4 teams?
There are 5 teams in our league.
Oh, so you guys got
4 teams make it. But get a load of the reason that they won't let us play a game.
Your team sucks.
Well, that's at 3-12. We got what we deserved. I think we had a negative 3,000,
Run
run
differential.
differential because we walked seven high. I think we're the only team in baseball history to walk more than give up. We gave up more walks than hits. It's like, it just doesn't seem humanly possible. Anyway, our team, and listen, for any of my teammates who are here, I don't mean to offend or bring up bad things to force you into painful places, but they wouldn't let us play because one of the team, one of the teams, the Halden Dodgers, not the Wayne Dodgers, which is our name. Well, we had two teams of the same name. I don't know, but the Halden Dodgers wanted to go back to Florida for their winter retirement. Apparently, they all live in Florida and they leave. They snowbird down in the
Right.
city, and
So
because they wanted to leave early, they felt they should accommodate this team and let them play a week earlier and shorten the playoffs by a week, which would have allowed us, if they had agreed to extend them, that would have allowed us to create a round for us to get in there. Even if we just went in and lost, which we certainly would have, it would have been great to get to play, and we didn't. Stupidest rule. I I can't wait until there are more teams in this league. It will make it a lot easier next season when we hopefully have six teams. Um,
it won't
even if we
dilute the talent.
yeah, we're gonna have a re-entry draft. That's what we're gonna.
Hey, we redraft every year. Matter of fact, when my game ended this week, at the end of the game, I took my bat back from Mark Jamello. The aluminum bat that we shared.
Oh yeah.
I took it back from him, and he goes, "You really taking it back?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he says, "What are we going to do next year?" And I go, "I don't know. I have a bat. I'm going to be 60. I'm using aluminum unless they change the rules." And of course, I wanted to change the rules so that I can't use an aluminum bat because I think I'm going to kill somebody. But so he says, "Well, then we have to get on the same team." I go, "Well, yeah, if we're on the same team, then fine." I said, "But really, the way I played this year, and the fact that I pitched, I could throw 6 or 7 innings, I may have pitched myself into a first round draft pick. And really, the only first round draft picks that we have in our 4 or 5 team league are Jamello, this guy Dennis
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Acevedo, Furtani, and that's it. Those are the 3 pitchers in our league. So
Wow.
I became the fourth.
Why do you
I am
guys
now the
have? Where's
fourth
your
pitcher.
pitching? Why don't you have pitching? You guys, were there ever pitchers aside from Chile who passed
Oh
away?
no,
God
they're
rest his
just
soul.
old. They're old and ancient. There are
What
other
about
guys that can
Chili's
pitch.
son? How old is he? Is he old
Well,
enough to play in
he
your
lives
league?
out in Tennessee. That's why the tournament is in Nashville. He's a
Oh,
really
I
good
hear he
kid,
was
Chili's
quite a
son.
good player.
Yeah, he's a good
So
player and a good guy. He's the one that runs that tournament in Nashville that I was talking to you guys about. That I learned is no longer full baseball rules, which is really good. Because since it's not full baseball rules, it might be an option for our Yankee team for an October trip.
that would be quite wonderful, I think.
It's more
So
games. I don't know what the cost is, but I'll look into that one as an option for those of you who
four games
are
would be
from our
great. That
Monterey
would
trip. You might be able to get us out to Nashville, which is a shorter trip for
yeah,
you guys, which is nice. And
I
Nashville's a
love it. It's
real
an hour
on
and a half flight.
city. Yeah, and if it's a full on tournament for a week. There's more games, and Nashville. I've been to Nashville, but I think going with you guys would be a whole different experience.
Hmm.
I've only been there for business, so it'd be a nice trip for us to make, and there's stuff to do in Nashville.
I
Isn't that where the
worked
Grand Ole Opry is? Isn't the Grand Ole Opry in
yes,
Nashville? Yeah, there you go.
yes, it is. I worked in Nashville with a company for about a year and a half, and I loved it. It's a great town, and the ballpark is beautiful. I went there.
Yeah.
Used to be the A's. I think it was the A's farm
Well, it was the
system built
Yankees
there.
for a while too. The Nashville Sounds were the Yankees for a
Yes,
long
that's
time.
right. That's right.
There was the
That's
Nashville
right.
Express. There was the Columbus Express. There's the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Express. There's all sorts of stuff.
A lot of expresses.
Yeah, the
So
Yankees do shuttle their guys.
so what are you thinking, buddy? How you feeling? Hey, how about do
Well,
you want to
I'm
quickly
not.
want to give our love? One thing though, before we go into it, should we give some love to the crosstown rival New York Mets
Well,
for
I know you're
that was
not
I was
going
on a
to.
plane and it was exciting. That was exciting. Now I do not like the Mets, as we all know. No offense to any of our dear Met fans out there. I couldn't care less. But I was happy for my
No,
friends.
you
Like
do care.
called me. I called them.
You hate them. You hate them. I couldn't care less. I don't care if they win or lose. I can root for them because they can only help the Yankees except when they play the Yankees. So I don't dislike them. I don't like them. I have no gut feel. But to be quite honest, both the Brewers and the Mets are likable teams. Meaning, there's
I
nobody on
I
the
have to
team
tell you,
to dislike.
it's true. But you know what? I thought I thought all the relief pitching has been terrible. The Mets relief pitching. I mean, I think Diaz was okay yesterday. He does have gas. It's amazing.
Well, he
But
got
I
out of
got
the jam. He got out of the jam and pitched
he
two
did.
innings without allowing
He
anything.
he did, but he's fine. But I mean, I couldn't believe how that guy. I mean, just joking. And yeah, you'd always know it. It's the same with the Yankees. Same with Holmes. It's always about control, and
Walks.
this is where we really got so lucky. We got so spoiled with Mo, because Mo just it wasn't just that Mo had that cutter. It was never a ball, or if it was a ball so late they still swung at him.
Yeah,
So he
it's
never I can never remember him being wild. And this is what's amazing. These guys don't have any none of these guys have any control. And when they start to get nervous, they flounder in the zone. And that's what was why watching that last night when I knew he was going to give up a home run. I knew he was going to give up a home run
really. You
to
thought Williams would give up a home run?
I can't remember his name. Who was the closer? The
Devin Williams. That's the guy I want the Yankees to get. Actually,
Williams. I saw that coming just by how far out of the zone he
well, I
was
was rooting
against the
for. I
line.
like Pete, so I was rooting for Pete.
Well, I'm not rooting for him. Because I hate the Mets. I never root for them in any context unless if it's helping the Yankees, of course. And then I do, and then I still have a little half of me that goes, "I'll be happy either way." you know, I'm laughing at my own joke. I'm happy
Well,
if the
what did you
Mets
do in
lose.
'86? Who did you root for in '86? Or you didn't watch?
Red
You
Sox
boycott.
all the way, baby. Red Sox
Really, you rooted for the Red
all
Sox?
over the Red Sox.
Oh, I couldn't root for the Red Sox.
I had no.
And
I
I
didn't
went
really
to
hate the
camp in
Red Sox
Boston,
that much,
and
man.
I went to camp outside Boston and went to two Red Sox games a year for a long time.
I, I,
And
I spent a summer in Cambridge during law school, and I started to like the Red Sox. I started liking to go to Red. I like going to Red Sox
well, I
games.
like Fenway. How could you not like Fenway?
I
That's
love Fenway, so I don't have any. My only time I really dislike the Red Sox is when the Yankees play them. I don't really have that.
okay.
I don't know, but I have a lot of anger against the Mets. Listen, it's unresolved. I admit it. I have a problem. I
That's
admit
the
it.
first. Hey, that's the first step to recovery, right there.
On my way.
Way to go. So,
On
just
my
I
way.
quickly looked up Rivera's stats, just so you know. He
Yeah.
pitched. What was it? He pitched 600. What does it say? He pitched 283 innings in 19 years.
Yeah. And how many walks? What was his? I want to
And
ask, what was his whip? What was his
sorry,
lifetime whip? I bet it was 1.15.
that inning. Oh, sorry, he pitched 1,283 innings. My mouse was over the one.
Your nose is
1,280.
entirely too close to the screen here, buddy. You got to move back. Woo.
Sorry, I
Oh,
was going all Kramer. So it's
Kramer.
1,283 innings, and he had 286 walks. So he had
All right.
one walk every 6 innings.
And what was his
Whip
what was his whip?
one.
I bet it was
One.
1.15.
No, his career whip was one. 1.0. Right? I'm trying
I
to,
mean,
yeah, 1.0. 1.0 was his lifetime whip. His 100,
Lutoski.
his 162,
0.0.
yes, this is 162 game average was 78 innings with 17 walks. That was his average career season. 78
And then
innings and
what about
17.
his playoff numbers? Let's go to even more. Can you pull up his playoff? I bet his whip
Got
was
him.
0.6 in the
His
playoffs.
whip, his playoff career whip was .759.
I'm right there, man.
141 innings, 21 walks.
Yeah.
He only had 110 strikeouts. So it's not like he was a big strikeout guy in the playoffs. Not that he was a big strikeout guy ever, but I expected it to be a little higher than that. His career strikeouts was 1,173. So, I mean, his strikeout rate in the playoffs went down significantly. But
the
still, whip was .75.
I mean, this is it. This is the success. This is why he's the greatest, the GOAT. There's no question. And
Yeah.
the the fact that these guys can't even come close to it anymore. They just don't know how to do it. I think that it's as much in their head as it is in their arm, because it's got to be hard.
So
It's got to be very tough. So
I
anyway,
want
I
to
want
play
to bring up.
one of our callers asked one of our callers, Greg. Do you know who Greg is? I'm welcome, Greg. Thank you for
I
listening.
haven't the slightest
Uh,
idea, but Greg, you are welcome, and you are now a friend of the show.
well, he's a friend of the show, so he left a message about pitching. Let's see what he had to say.
Who on the Yankee pitching staff is going to have to step up for them to have success throughout the postseason?
I got it.
Good question.
I got it.
My
What do
answer,
you think?
I have an answer. Is Clark Schmidt is my answer. I
Okay.
think that he's the one that's going to end up in the bullpen because he has the experience in the bullpen. Same thing we've been talking about. And I think he has to take the setup man, 2 innings, be able to pitch 2 innings, 2 out of every 3 games that they play. And if he can do that, Cole's got to go 7 or 8 tomorrow. But if he's going to have to, Rodon's going to throw 197 pitches in 6 innings because that's what he does. And then that's where Schmidt is going to have to pitch 2 innings to get them to Weaver. Now, Weaver's going to have to step up, but Weaver has already stepped up. So there's an assumption he's going to perform. I don't, playoff performance is different. It's not, playoff performance is not indicative of regular season. But Schmidt, I think, is going to have to be the guy. He's going to have to be the big bridge. He's the bridge guy.
Okay. I got it. I'll go back. You started to touch on it. I think it's all because of everything I've just said. How easy it is to blow these leads. How the Mets have been able to come back and score like 75 runs in the last 2 innings of every game for this entire week. Is that nobody can close games anymore. So to me, it's all about that. It's going to be about Weaver. I think Weaver is the key to getting them through this because they're not going to get more than 6 innings, 7 innings from these guys. They just don't do that. They'll get it from Cole because he won't allow himself to be removed. We all know Boone doesn't have any balls. Excuse me. Is balls a? Is that a?
He doesn't have any baseballs. How could a baseball coach not have any baseballs?
There it is. So I don't think he's going to be able to turn. I don't think he's going to be able to deter.
I think they also have something else going for them in this series.
What's that?
The Royals' offense. They scored 3 runs. They won 2-1 and 1-0, right? So if they can just not let Witt and Perez beat them.
Yeah, that's all I worry about. Witt is, I would say, the most dynamic person I've seen on a field in a long time. Like what he does, and that. See, I don't think of. I think Judge is the greatest. I think he's the best player in baseball. But you don't really get excited about Judge tearing around second base and scoring on a single. I don't think about it because it would scare me too much that he's going to blow half of the muscles in his lower leg. So I don't think about it.
Right. I look at Witt as, this year he was out of control, right? It's his third season and he was out of control good in every category. So this year he reminds me a lot of more powerful Trey Turner. Because Trey Turner was, he's hitting 300, he's stealing 30, 40 bases. And, he gets on base and he's just a terror. He's sort of a combination of Corey Seager and Trey Turner this season. But this is his first season where he was completely out of control. Otherwise, he's, he hit 270. But this year he didn't hit 270, he hit 330. So, and he hit more homers and more RBIs. He's only getting better. I mean, it's his third year. You got to expect the guy, he's hitting his prime now. The guy that's amazing is Perez because he's 962 years old. And he just keeps getting better and better. And he moved over to first base for a good portion of the season and really didn't miss a beat and didn't hurt them defensively. So, but other than that, there's nobody in that lineup. So from a standpoint of, okay, the Yankees have 2 guys and Judge and Soto, and the Royals have 2 guys in Perez and Witt. Who's going to step up offensively is going to be a more interesting conversation than pitching because neither one of these teams is exactly an offensive powerhouse. Even though the Yankees led the league in home runs and on-base percentage, we
That's
all
because they
know
had
that that's a
900 from the
misleading.
same
That's
guys.
a misleading stat because one, they have those two guys, and two, the Yankees are completely streaky, which the Royals are as well. They had 2 7-game losing streaks since August. They went 11-15 in September. They backed into the playoffs because Minnesota just fell apart. And their GM left today, by the way. The Twins GM left today. He left the team. So, you're not talking about two teams with consistent offensive power and offensive prowess, because that's where this series is going to be won. I think that Greg's question was right on point. The pitchers are going to have to really come through, but they have a great opportunity to come through because the Royals don't have that big of an offense.
Who are the lefties and is Lugo a lefty?
No, Lugo's a righty. Reagan's is a lefty.
And what's the Reagan situation? When does he pitch in this thing?
Game 2. Lugo's game 3.
Right, so that would be my
they're only going to
concern.
get those guys once.
He's already mailing in.
Yeah, they're only going to get, Walker's pitching tomorrow. So, and the Yankee with the best stats against Walker is likely not even going to be on the playoffs roster because that would be Rizzo. Rizzo eats him for lunch, but he's not going to be on the roster, it doesn't look like.
Have they had any? I haven't seen any news on it at all.
No, the Yankees are being pretty tight-lipped about a lot of things on their roster. 11 pitchers or 12. Who's playing left field, whether Rizzo is going to be there. There's a lot of stuff that the Yankees have to make decisions on. And quite frankly, with 3 days off during a 5-game series, because Major League Baseball smartly is not going against the NFL on Sunday. 3 days off in a 5-game series, you don't really need 12 pitchers, unless, of course, you go back to the 1-pitcher rule. So ultimately, the Yankees are going to have to decide, are they 11 pitchers or 12? I think that Stroman needs to get left off of the roster because he doesn't have a role.
I think he
can't come out of the bullpen. He's just not a bullpen guy.
Yeah, I would agree.
So but the Yankees will be able to come back with Cole in games 1 and 5, and it'll be on regular rest, and it'll be fantastic.
Who's pitching? So you got Walker tomorrow, and who's 2? You 2 is
Reagan's and then Reagan's and then Lugo for them. I mean, and both of those guys are going to finish in the top 5 in the Cy Young. I mean, they were fantastic, both of them this year.
Now, what interests me is, you see, I think knowing the Yankees, they're probably going to mail in the second game because they're just worried. They just don't feel confident about beating left-handed pitchers anymore. I'm amazed they're not.
I don't think they're not going to mail it in. They're not mailing it in. They're not going to put in a crappy lineup like they do sometimes. I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that, Stanton and Judge and Soto and Wells and Volpe are all going to be in the lineup, and Torres are all going to be in the lineup. Obviously, left field's a question mark, and Jazz is going to be in the lineup, regardless if it's a lefty or a righty. Obviously, first base is wide open as well. I would rather see Cabrera play every day at first base than Rice. No offense to Rice at this point, but Cabrera is a better left-handed hitter than he is right-handed hitter. And I don't want to see Rice against a lefty because, quite frankly, he's not that good. I'd rather see Cabrera in there because he brings something else to the table. There's some kind of scrappy, I want to be Juan Soto type attitude and tone to Cabrera's game that I really like. I don't think he's an everyday player, but, he's going to have to be if Rizzo's not in the roster.
Well, as long as they don't expose
play every day.
He can play 3 or 4 games in a row and it'll be okay. It's when you expose him over a long haul.
Well, the playoffs, you can see better pitching, so he's going to be exposed. I mean, but I'd rather see him in there. There's just something about how he carries himself that I like. He's like a Juan Soto wannabe as far as his tone and attitude. He's even got a little shuffle. But it's going to be interesting to see. But ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Stanton is going to have to really be good in the playoffs. And I was looking up something, and it was very amusing. I looked this up, and I wanted to give you this stat. This is the best stat that I've found. Let me get it back up here. I'm going to read you a player's playoff stats, and you tell me who you think this is. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Postseason batting average, 281, 364 on base, 456 slugging for an OPS of 820 over 31 games in the playoffs.
How many home runs?
5 with 17 ribbies.
All right.
And and better yet, 15 walks in 31 games, 25 strikeouts.
So you didn't bury the lead. Is it Stanton?
No.
Okay. Because Stanton has 11 home runs in his pro, I think. Okay. So Soto, maybe? No.
Nope.
I don't know who.
Soto doesn't have 31 games in the playoffs.
That's right. He hasn't played.
Gleyber Torres.
I don't believe it.
Gleyber Torres.
Do not believe it.
He is a playoff performer except for 2022. He was not good in 2022. And 2021, he only played one game. But he in 2022, he did not have a good playoff series. But he has been a good playoff performer throughout his career. In 9 series in 5 years. So he's a guy that's going to have to step up and continue to do that, but he didn't step up the last 2 times he was in the playoffs. Whereas our boy Giancarlo, who we all thought had such great playoff stats, it's not as good as you think. He had a 250 batting average in the 22 playoffs. He had 35 at bats, and he only had 6 hits. Of course, he had 2 doubles and 2 homers of his 6 hits, and he had 6 RBIs in the division series against Cleveland. But he did not do very good in the playoffs in 22.
Yeah.
He won them with series against Cleveland because he was good against Cleveland in that one game where he had 2 homers and 6 RBIs. But his lifetime batting average in the playoffs is a acceptable 260, 327 on base, 635 slugging, which is good. But, he's typical Stanton. He's streaky as streaky can be.
Yep.
But it looks like those 2 guys are going to have to step up because they're surrounding Soto and Judge, right? And that's going to be the guys.
That is the 6. There's your team, and this is what worries me. I'm glad to see that the one thing I'm looking at is that Waka is not a strikeout pitcher.
No.
So that means that they aren't going to have their usual, watching everything go by and
yeah, they're still going to strike out. If Walker pitches 6 innings, he's striking out 8 Yankees, even though he's not a strikeout pitcher.
Because it's the Yankees, and the Yankees in the playoffs. Knowing the Yankees, they're going to try to hit. Everybody's going to be hitting 3-run homer.
And I'm sorry, I just can't watch. This is sacrilege, I know, but I can't watch Volpe anymore. If he keeps doing this, pulling his hip out, I'm just so fed up watching this. It's ridiculous. I told the story. I told the story last time, which Trevino told me to shush. Right? I just don't understand it. He fixes it for 2 games, and then he goes right back to opening up his hips.
Because you weren't there to yell at him.
Any idiot can see why he is not hitting. I mean, it's ridiculous. It just drives me crazy watching him hit. Move closer. If you want to hit that way, move closer to the plate. So that we can cover.
He does something when he gets up, and it bothers me. Yes, he does pull off. But what I like is that and I think that this is the issue, and maybe Gleyber has this too.
Yes.
When they do go the other way with authority, they go the other way, and they make a couple outs. They then seem to revert back to pulling again.
Right, which is ridiculous. They need to be able to. I mean, they're major league hitters, right? So I'm assuming they have a tremendous amount of talent that far exceeds anything you and I combined can put together. I don't understand how these guys can have some success pulling the inside pitch, driving, especially these punching, these non-power hitters, pulling the inside pitches and punching the outside pitches to the opposite field. And then they make a couple of outs on an outside pitch by grounding out to second base. They stop doing it. I just don't get it. It's got to be the players' heads. I can't imagine a coach not being able to say to the guy, "What are you doing?"
Right.
It's unbelievable to me. So I want to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say.
I want to get Bay Meadows Bill, a local here, I would imagine, unless it's Bay Meadows in Queens. He's got something to ask us about the left field situation.
It looks like it's going to come down to a game time decision whether they start Verdugo or Dominguez in left field. Given that Dominguez doesn't look comfortable in left field, how long a leash do you think they'll give him if he doesn't produce offensively, which obviously they would be hoping for, since Verdugo hasn't had a very productive season at the plate? Thanks.
You want to take that? I've got some
Yeah, I
comments.
mean, I think it's a good question. I think if the Yankees go Dominguez all the way because they're going to need that offensive firepower. They need it. And so I'd want him to do well. I think that for the possibility that he's going to make an error, you let him in there for the 4 to 5 at bats he's going to get every night. I've had enough of Verdugo's bat. And I also don't think his glove is as good as everybody makes it out to be. He's taken more bad routes to balls than anybody I've seen. He looks terrible out there at times. So I don't think he's as great as everybody thinks. So I don't think it's worth it to give up the 5 strong possible bats from this guy, who I think just feels like he'll have a good series, because he seems to be the kind of guy who steps up. And I just think he will. I don't think Verdugo will. Verdugo's going to be overtaken by the moment, and he's going to be drowning into those double plays. The one thing we know for a fact, Dominguez is not getting thrown out on a double play unless he hits a rocket right at somebody. So I love him on the bases. I love him. I love his bat. I love the intangibility of just the speed tool that don't get from that. And I'll give up the left field the slight chance that he might drop a fly ball at an inopportune moment. That's my feeling. What do you think?
I think that they should start Dominguez against the righties for sure. Against the lefties, well, the lefty is going to start game 2, so it's only going to be a 1-game sample. I would take a look at whether or not Dominguez is on. Like if he's on and he's hitting, and let's say he gets, he hits the ball hard a couple of times, 3 times, and gets on base and wreaks a little bit of havoc in the game against Waka, I would play him the next game because I think you play the hot guy. But if Dominguez looks silly offensively, I would probably play Verdugo against Reagan's, only because Dominguez is not that good a right-handed hitter. But if his confidence is up, I think it'll elevate his play. Dominguez in left field is a problem. I don't think it's a big problem because it's left field, but I think it's a problem. And I think next year, if the team stays the same as it is, assuming Verdugo's gone, I think Judge moves to left field next year, and Dominguez is your center fielder.
They won't do that because it's too big and he's going to get hurt. So
listen, all I know is this: Judge is a just above average center fielder, if that, and he is a stud right fielder, and I think he would be a stud left fielder. They could put Soto's not as good an outfielder, and he can't play out there. But Dominguez is a center fielder, and he'll be a better player.
More from Bay Meadows. We got a call from somebody just popped in. Was that Bay Meadows with a follow-up?
No, was it? No, it was Shal type. It was Matt Shal, friend of the show, Mets fan. So let's. But as far as left field goes, that's how I would handle it. I would play the hot guy and give Dominguez the first game. If he looks confident at the plate, I would let him play against Reagan's. But Verdugo has to be the guy. First and second, nobody out. He damn well better be bunting. I don't give a crap if he hasn't had a sacrifice bunt since he was 4 years old. He cannot be allowed to hit with first and second, or even a man on first and nobody out. I know that the analytics say don't bunt, but I'm sorry, when a guy grounds into over 20 double plays and hits, what did he hit, 113 ground balls to second base?
By far, I think it was more than that. I think he crossed at 115, close to 120.
I just don't.
Unreal.
The overall Major League Baseball, yes, it's better to not bunt when you have a man on first and nobody out. I don't disagree with that stat overall, but you have to watch the game and see this guy that's going to ground into a double play and not have any pop. He's got to be bunting if he gets on base, if he gets up with nobody out and a man on base. I don't care. I don't care about anything. He's got to bunt. I'd give up an out just to move the runner and avoid the double play.
What did you see last night in the Met game? Something that it just made me so happy. Even though it was the Mets who did it, I just kept dreaming of the Yankees doing it. Last inning, they're up by a run now. Alonso hits his home run, and then Winkler. Does Winkler get hit? Because I was.
He got hit by a pitch twice yesterday.
All right, so he gets hit by a pitch. He goes to first. He steals second base with 2 outs, and I'm thinking that is the best play in baseball. The 2-out steal. It's my favorite thing to do, and damn if not,
especially if the batter's behind in the count.
Yeah, I just loved it.
And what did Marte do? Marte punched the ball to right field, which Marte does when he's, Marte's going to have a stud year next year for the Mets and won't get hurt because he's in a contract year. But Marte's an excellent player. But he's an excellent player.
I loved it, and it made me so happy. And I could think of 2 times in this season that the Yankees probably did that, where they created.
I can't even think of the 2, so I don't know what to say. Hey, I want to get to a call. We have a call in from AJ Rovner from the Rovner Report here at the Mic'd Up app. He's a broadcast journalist degree from Penn State and a client services supervisor with the New York Football Giants. I like saying that because it pisses people off. And he has a whole bunch of viewpoints on an array of guests all about New York sports. He talks about the Giants and the Rangers. I'd love to get on his podcast to talk about the Rangers and get my son Max, who writes for NHL.com and for the Hockey News on his show when the Rangers and the Sharks are playing at the very least. But let's see what AJ has to say for us.
Play him, for God's sake.
Hi, this is AJ Rovner, the host of the Rovner Report here on the Mic'd Up platform. I was just wondering, how far do the Yankees have to go for Aaron Boone to retain his manager position? Is it you have to win the World Series? Can you at least make the World Series? Or is it just going to be his job is safe no matter what with the regular season performance? Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, but you don't have to be so polite. It's only us. I would love to answer that. Let's go round by round. If they lose in the first round, he's fired. Do you agree?
Bingo. He's gone. He may be gone before the last game is over.
All right. If they don't go, all right. So let's go this. If they win, let's say that, and now we'll go the other end. If they make it to the World Series and win, he stays. Those are the extremes, right?
Of course.
Right. That's it. So we'll take the extremes. I'm working my way down. They get to the World Series and lose. Do you think he gets to keep his job?
If it's a blowout, if they lose in 4 and they look bad and nobody hits and he starts moving pictures and he moves the lineup around, he starts messing around with the bullpen, he's gone.
Well, I don't think he gets a say in the lineup, so I don't think that's
You're right.
I think if they make the World Series, he gets to keep his job. As long as they don't get blown out in 3 out of the 4 losses.
I agree, except for a blowout.
But for what's a but for? Pooping, silly. Anyhow,
I'll tell you the blowout that loses his job in a World Series is the 76 loss to the Reds.
Yes, I agree. That kind of. Now I will say this though: if they lose to the Mets, that if George was in charge, he'd be fired. But that's not the case. George is not in charge. Now here's the tough one: they lose in the ALCS. Does he get to keep his job?
I'll let you answer first.
I say no. I say if they don't make the World Series, he is gone. And I think even if it goes 7 in the ALCS, he is gone.
I think he's gone because they just don't have any patience for it. He will be roasted, and they'll finally say they have to do something. But my biggest concern is how they're going to lose in the 7th. If it's going to, it'll be a 7-game loss. He'll decide to go to Holmes. It'll just be terrible. So that's my biggest fear. That's how he's going to lose his job.
I think it's World Series, get to the World Series and have an acceptable performance in the World Series, even if you lose in 4, as long as it's not blowouts. I think he stays. I think if he loses in any of the American League Series, he's history. And I think if they lose to Kansas City, he'll be fired before the ALCS starts. They'll just be like, we're going to move on from Aaron Boone. I don't know who the next manager would be, but it can't be good for the Yankees that the Phillies manager was his bench coach and won a World Series. Mendoza, his first year with the Mets, they overperform and make it through the wild card round. Who are the other managers out there? So the Guardians have a rookie manager in Stephen Vogt, right? Kansas City's manager's been around for a little while, but he obviously knows what he's doing. And who's Detroit's manager these days? I forgot who their manager is. Who's the manager of the Tigers?
I forgot. I don't know.
Well, and it doesn't help. Well, we know that Brad
It's
Osmus is on the Yankees. We know, put it this way, it's the guy that replaced Brad Osmus who's on the Yankees coaching staff. So we know that, that can't be a good thing. Oh, it's AJ Hinch.
It's not Hinch.
It's AJ Hinch. It's the cheating manager. The cheating manager is this guy. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be gone. And you know me, I've said this in some texts. If he is gone, I would love Mattingly to be the manager. That would be my ultimate first choice. But like you like to say,
he's available.
Cashman won't hire him because he can never fire him, which is possible.
That kills me.
I know, kills me.
You know what? The only one who can't be fired is Cashman.
Right.
Cashman can't be
the
fired.
other thing, though, is the other thing I wouldn't mind seeing is, okay, you know what? Rizzo's had 2 bad years, injuries, and all sorts of stuff is stacked up. I wouldn't mind if they made Rizzo the manager and Mattingly the bench coach. Because Rizzo runs that team. I don't care the judge is the captain. If you watch what goes on in that dugout, Rizzo is in the center of everything.
Rizzo is 5 years away from being a great manager. You can already see that. There's no question.
I don't know. Stephen Vogt, Stephen Vogt was a very popular player, but he was, 1 year out of baseball and he was managing. And it was really not 1 year out of baseball. He was out of baseball because nobody would sign him. He wasn't out of baseball because he was like, I'm done playing. He was just like, nobody signs his butt. And if Stephen Vogt could come into it, I don't see why not for Rizzo as well. Okay. We'll see what happens, but Mattingly would obviously be my first choice. But that's a good question
from Mr. Rovner. I want to say thank you. That was
yes, it was an outstanding question, and it's something we wanted Boone fired last year, but what do we know? But we'll have some interesting shows. We'll have some interesting shows after the playoffs are over because there's so much to talk about. I would like him to be
fired even if they win because I just don't like him.
Let him walk away a winner. Tell him to walk away like Dusty Baker. Walk away a winner.
Perfect. Love it. Hey, I want to talk about a big moment. Can I play a moment? One of my
yes, go play a moment. Moments? Are you going to play Howie Rose from yesterday?
No. Here we go. That's me. Come on.
I can't see. Something in the way. Oh, look, it's sideways. That doesn't look like Mark Littell. Yes, I see it.
No, that's a great moment, but this is one of my all-time favorites.
This looks like Dennis Leonard. Hey, Munson.
Listen to Howard Cosell.
That's 75, isn't it?
78.
What year? Oh, 78, because there's Reggie. Or 77.
78.
Bucky, Willie.
There's Willie.
Yeah, there they are. I wouldn't mind Willie being the bench coach because he actually watches the games. He believes in analytics, but he's not 100% with analytics.
Down goes Kramer.
Down goes Kramer. All right, so let's get to some of these other. Let's get to a couple other calls. Since Matt Shell is listening and he put his call in to us while he's listening. Let's listen to Shell. Met fan Matthew Q. Shell. The Q stands for Quimby.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Baron von Mummenschanz. I really like this week's wild card round. It gives teams that get hot in the second half and down the stretch a shot at the postseason. And it sets up nicely the best 3 out of 5 round, which really I like as a format overall. Mets-Phils, this is the first time they've met in the playoffs, and I expect more than a few brushback pitches. Enjoy.
Well, we got our Met fans' view. I don't disagree with him. It's a nice rivalry. I don't know how much anger there really is right now between the Mets and the Phillies. I mean, there's more anger between Winker and the Brewers than there was anything else because Winker was on the Brewers last year for part of the season. But the Mets and the Phillies is interesting because it's the battle of former Yankee bench coaches. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. And you know Schwarber is going to strike out and hit home runs. If there's a 5-game series, he'll have 3 games where he has a homer, No, 2 games where he has a homer, 1 game when he has a walk, 1 game he has a strikeout, and then 1 wild card as to what he's going to do when he leads off the game for the Phillies, because that's what he is. He is the ultimate 3-tool player, but of course he still has an OPS of over 800, even though he strikes out so much, because he really does walk. He's more of a walker than Joey Gallo in his prime, but he's also a playoff performer. And I love Bryce Harper as a player. He's just a guy I like. And
How's
always
his
have.
health? How's
He's
his
healthy.
health
He's
going?
played first base all year. Yeah, talk about a seamless move to first base. He turned himself into a decent first baseman.
But he's such a great athlete. That's got to be a piece of cake for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready?
So,
here we go. We got another great moment.
Another great moment in Kramer history.
Yankee. Oh, I hate when they do the commercials. Come on, guys.
I like the fact that I could see only your mouth and Kramer's head.
Here we go.
Well, while we have a break here, I'd like to talk about Kramer for a second. Oh,
here it is.
Never mind. Oh, a lawnmower. Why is Freddie Potzak running off the field? Oh, this is the post collision.
Why is that? Here it is.
No sound?
I can't really get the sound. Whoa!
Look, Willie's in left field. Willie's in left field.
Here we go.
Is that Pinella? That's Pinella. And Chambliss.
And
Pinella came from the outfield to argue.
Oh, he's holding up Willie.
Yeah. Holy cow. The left fielder is coming in to argue a play at second base. He just cross body blocked him. That is a beautiful thing. He literally just body blocked him. That was great. So I want to get my Kramer point across. So as you know, my wife is in New York, and she had to drop off a bobblehead for Mr. Kramer because was it a bobblehead? Yes, Kramer wanted a Ricky Henderson bobblehead. So I got a Ricky Henderson bobblehead from an A's game, and I had my wife drop it off at Kramer's. And her commentary on Daniel Q. Kramer, Esquire, was that he was very chatty, very friendly, very nice, and topped off the conversation by asking Michelle's mother to be on the lookout for a woman for him to date. So he wants my mother-in-law to find a woman for him. Little does he know, how good could my mother-in-law be at finding a woman for people when she allowed her daughter to marry me? Why would you trust that woman if she let her daughter marry me?
Terrible choice. Oh my
and
God.
Michelle asked me.
The worst
Michelle asked me.
Person to ask.
Yes, right. I mean, she let her daughter marry me. Why would you let her find you a woman? Anyhow, my wife also left with the impression that Kramer's fresh out of a relationship. I didn't realize that he gave a name to his hands. I have no idea. Whatever. But she said he was extremely nice, and he's a very nice guy. Very nice guy, Kramer. So I got to give Kramer credit for that. He is a very kind person.
Okay. Kramer deserves love. That's my feeling. I think he needs to find love. It would be a good thing for Kramer to. Can you imagine a double date with Kramer?
That'd be worse than the Big Bang Theory when Wallowitz went on a date went on a double date, and Koothrappali brought a girl in that Wallowitz had dated and flooded her toilet on their first date. That was not a good thing.
Not a good thing. You ever see Along Came Polly?
Yes.
One of the great scenes. Ben Stiller.
Yes, when he has the hair gel. His hair gel.
No, that's a different movie.
Oh, that's a different. What was movie. That one? That was
Something About Mary.
That was Mary. Polly is the one with Jennifer Aniston. Sorry.
Yeah, and he goes. He's trying to show what a cool, happening dude he is. He goes out to eat food. He knows he has a irritable bowel problem, and he goes out to a very spicy meal and he eats it, and you hear it's working its way into a lather. And he's on his way back to the house, and he goes into her. He says, "Do you mind if I go to the bathroom?" "Oh, sure." And of course, we all had this when we were dating in small apartments back in the day. You go out with someone who had a tiny place. The toilet is right next to the dining room or right next to the bedroom. So you have no privacy. So of course the bedroom is right where she's standing. The bathroom is right there, and he goes in, and there's a tiny little piece of toilet paper. It was a great scene. Yeah, I would suggest it to anybody, any of our 8 listeners who would like to
It's
see it.
made for 8-year-olds because it is poop jokes.
Yeah.
So one last caller, Big Juicy, chimed in. My coach, Dave
Ooh.
Hall.
Okay, I'm going to use some numbers here, one-loss records, and on that basis alone, and I know there's a lot more to baseball than that, particularly in the postseason, but I'm going to see the Yankees getting all the way to the World Series. They have winning records against Kansas City, and if they get by them, then against Detroit or Cleveland, they have winning records as well. And I'd love to see them play the Dodgers in the World Series, but Dodgers have losing records against the Padres and the Phillies, so tougher road for them.
Well, quite frankly, that's actually Michael K. I got to give Big Juicy credit. This message was here for a couple of days, and Michael K. talked about this yesterday. And he even said he doesn't want to hear, Michael K. even said, I don't want to hear anything about a crapshoot. That's total BS. Everything is lined up for the Yankees. It's not a crapshoot. The Yankees dominated these 3 teams that are in the playoffs with them this year. They dominated the entire American League Central. And there is no Houston, which even though the Yankees did well against Houston this year, it's no Houston. And the Orioles, who had the season series against the Yankees. So
Yeah.
the Yankees, everything's lined up for the Yankees. He doesn't want to hear crapshoot. I never want to hear crapshoot because I
I
don't
know
believe
we've
it's a
argued about this
crapshoot.
for
If
years.
you watch the game and play the players that are performing well, even if they haven't performed well all season, if let's say they start Verdugo tomorrow and he gets 4 hits, they damn well better play Verdugo on game 2. Same thing with
But
Dominguez.
they
If Dominguez
don't.
has 4 hits
They don't.
tomorrow, you damn well better play him in game 2. I don't
They
want to hear
don't. They
spit.
have their lineups lined up already all the way through the series, I bet, from the
I,
analytics place.
it's just stupid. You got to
And
play the
it's
high
right.
end. And then in the bullpen, if all of a sudden Holmes becomes a stud, like let's say they're down by 3 runs tomorrow, and they put Holmes in the 6th inning, and he pitches an inning and a third with 3 strikeouts and a ground out, right? And then they come back in game 2, they come back and they win or whatever happens. In game 2, they don't use him. And in game 3, they fall behind, they put him in again, and he pitches another great inning. I would push him to be in a more leveraged situation because he seems to be hot. You got to pitch a hot reliever even if they stunk. Weaver's got to
In
be
the
the closer.
playoffs, yes, because there is something that happens to these guys. They first of all, they really some of these guys really rise to the moment. You got to
Yeah,
do that. You got to see it when it's happening, and you've got to use it. The hot hand in that case.
exactly.
I'll
It's
give you an example.
Michael
Nobody knew
Jordan.
what they were getting. They had no idea what they were getting in '95 with Rivera. He hadn't been very good leading into it. Comes into the playoffs against the Mariners and was lights out. They should have gone to him. If you listen to Coney, Coney loves to talk about how if the Yankees had only gone with Rivera in that situation rather than going to McDowell, they probably win that series because
Mhm.
Rivera was not going to give up a double. Nobody could get around uh, Rivera's heat. Not at that point. He was throwing much harder. But you know, you went with the hot hand. Then '96, he's a new guy. Another name, you know, Graham Lloyd. When Graham Lloyd came up, terrible season when he first got here from Milwaukee, was it?
Oh,
He
terrible.
was
Yeah.
terrible. And they wanted to send him back. They were saying he's broken. You remember
Yes.
George,
He's
something's wrong
broken.
with that boy. I'm sending him back. It was great. Such a classic Steinbrenner. But he turns around, has an amazing series. You got to do that. You see it in the playoffs. You see the guys who are beginning to do things and the guys who can rise to the occasion. You need more of that. Now, a lot of this stuff, all these points, I think, the Yankees have to do a few things that they don't do very well. They need some advanced base runners. They need to swing to go with the pitch more. They need to try to hit singles, doubles. They need to be going gap to gap a little bit, not
Just
worrying
drive,
about
just drive the ball. I don't care where. Just drive
drive
the ball.
the ball. That's it. They don't do it well in games like this. For the last 15 years, there's a common thread. They don't hit well in the playoffs against most of these teams. They don't. Their pitching has never really been a problem in the playoff series. I think they've always risen to the occasion. They
Absolutely.
just don't hit. It's the problem over and over again. 20 years. Even when they were winning, there were series where they just weren't fighting. They were before the 2009 series. The gap between 01 and 09, they were having those problems. So, what the Yankees need to do in this series is win, is play good base-to-base baseball, doing what the Mets did yesterday. That was great.
Yes.
I would love to see it. So we'll see. I'm not worried about their arms. I'm not. I think that they're going to be fine.
I'm not worried about their arms that much in this series because of Kansas City, but
They
I
aren't
am
that
worried
good.
about their bullpen if they can't throw strikes.
Cleveland
Chansey and Hamilton could be crucial to this. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the pen. If they go with 12 pitchers, do they go with Meza? Do they go with Stroman? Do they go with who are they going to go with? I mean, clearly Hill is in the bullpen, Holmes is in the bullpen, Weaver, Hamilton, probably Schmidt. That's your bullpen guys, the primary bullpen guys. And Cousin, if he's healthy, he's going to be in there.
Is he back?
They don't know. They haven't announced anything. That's one of the questions. The other thing that's, quite frankly, they're as bad as Judge has been in the playoffs with his 211 lifetime average. He still has a 772 OPS, even as bad as he's been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, he's got to be better, obviously. But even when he's not performing, his OPS is well above league average.
Yeah.
Whereas other guys, when they don't perform, their OPS is not above league average. He's gonna have to really have a strong playoff run here. He's got no choice. Soto, I'm not worried about Soto. For some reason, Soto he's got the swing.
He's going to be amazing. I think he's going to have. I think he's your MVP in the ALCS. I see it already. He's going to have. They get that far. He's going to win an MVP. He's going to win something.
As we wind down the show, let's go through this. You ready? We're going to do National League first. Mets or Phillies?
Phillies in 5.
Phillies in 5. Dodgers.
So I think the Mets are playing hot.
I am picking the Mets in 4. Padres, Dodgers.
Mets in 4?
Yes.
Wow.
Padres, Dodgers. Padres, Dodgers.
Dodgers in 5.
I'm picking the Padres in 3.
Wow.
Padres are going to sweep the Dodgers. I don't know why I said sweep, but I think the Padres are going to beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers have pitching. Dodgers have serious pitching issues
in the series. And
Dodgers have serious pitching issues. Did you see Joe Musgrove is having Tommy John surgery? He's out. Anyhow, so then, all right, so you got Phillies, Dodgers. Who do you have? Phillies, Dodgers.
I haven't thought about that one. I think the Phillies are the best team in the league, but I think the Dodgers, for some reason, it'll be the Phillies. I think the Phillies in 7. It'll be a tough series.
And I'm taking the Padres in 5 or 6 over the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the Padres in the National League. And my Phillies-Mets choice is the one I'm iffy on. I think the Padres are beating the Dodgers. I don't know if it'll be a sweep. That was just
I'm sorry.
The brothers, but I think it's going to be the Padres coming out of the National League. No. All right, American League, Tigers and the Guardians.
I'm going Tigers because I think they're playing the hot hand and their pitching is insane right now. I mean, they have the best pitching staff in the league right now. Skubal is outstanding. 3 times. Can you imagine 2 times Skubal? Skubal 3 times.
But he's not.
In the playoffs.
He can't. He's not pitching twice.
No, but I'm saying in the next round. If they get that far, we'll go there. But I think
I'm going opposite. I'm going opposite you again. I think the Guardians are going to take them. I think the Guardians play the type of baseball that just.
I'll tell you how the Tigers.
I think the Tigers would bear better against the Yankees than they would against the Guardians because the Guardians are this contact, run the bases, just grind out every game as opposed to, let's just throw a pitcher out there, he'll strike guys out. So I like the Guardians over the Tigers, although I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers win.
The only reason why I'm saying it, the Guardians are the better team, but because of how well they're pitching right now, It's like, to me, they're lining up perfectly at this point to win. But the key to winning, it's going to be obviously two people, Quan and Clase. That's where, if Quan does what he does,
Well, Ramirez is.
well, he's going to be great no matter what. He's their great hitter.
He's there.
But
He's there.
if Quan is on base for him, it's going to be it's Cleveland all the way. And then Clase is out of control.
Plus, he's the new big closer. And then, of course, Yankees or Royals?
Oh, Yankees. And I'm going to say this because I just don't, the Royals, I'm going to say this now, and then in 5 days, I'm going to be looking at this video and saying, what a freaking idiot. But I think Yankees in 4.
I think the Yankees are going to win in 4 as well.
Yeah.
So then we go.
I don't see anybody scary.
And now you got Yankees. You have Yankees Tigers. What do you think?
Oh, wow. That's the one that scares me. It really is. But I think in that case, the Yankees can still do it, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's a 7-game series.
So, and I have Guardians Yankees, and I'm taking the Guardians.
Okay.
I think the Yankees.
Wow. You think the Yankees will blow it off?
I think the Yankees are going to lose. The Guardians play. It's for the same reason I think the Guardians are going to beat the Tigers. Is they just play a style of baseball that the Yankees can't handle. The guys are constantly getting on base, constantly stealing, constantly running the bases.
They beat them this year.
They have some level. They have some level of playoff experience that will allow them to be that way. I just think they play a type of baseball that the Yankees can't do, and they have more depth in their offense than the Royals do. And that's the reason. And then they have Clase, and they also have what's the other guy's name? I had him on my fantasy team. The other guy they got from the Reds. They have 3 guys in the bullpen that are studs. They have a stud bullpen.
I don't see it, but I don't think it's all about the Yankees, the guys after. It's all about Soto and Judge. The two of them have a great series. No, let's put it this way. Those two play well and do their game for the entire playoffs. There's no way the Yankees lose. That's my feeling. Those two are so good and so dominant. If you get decent guys behind them, somebody does something, and you get Glaber to get on base before them, so they bring some runs in. Then you got Yankees all the way through.
As much as we want him off the team, he is huge in the playoffs this year, as is Stanton and Chisholm.
Yeah. I think they did. I love Chisholm. Glad they have Chisholm.
So you've got Yankees, Phillies.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Yeah, I hate to say it's such a homer. I'm all Yankees, but I don't think that, again, the Phillies don't scare the hell out of me. Nobody really scares me anymore. So I think what scares me is the Yankees, not anyone else. The Yankees will beat themselves.
I don't agree with that. So obviously I have the Guardians and the Padres, and what I will tell you is this. It will be the lowest rated World Series in the history of mankind, and the Padres are going to win.
Oh, God. Wow. You really like the Padres, man.
I do. I actually like their lineup. I think their lineup has so much.
Also, you like King? Is King starting the first game?
I don't think he's starting the first game because he pitched game 1 of the playoffs against who did they play? They played Atlanta, right?
That was a terrible series. Boy.
Yes, so King pitched the first game, so I don't think King's pitching until game 2. But I think the Padres and the Guardians.
All right, write it down so we can make fun of each other in the next show.
I'll be lucky if I remember it 10 minutes from now, and if I get on another show, I may make a different prediction.
All right, I'm doing
that's
it.
A different
story.
Say it again.
Let's say it again. All right.
All right. So ready? You've got the Phillies and the Dodgers, and then the Phillies. I've got the Yankees and the Guardians, and then the Guardians. And then I've got the Padres and the Mets and the Padres. And then I have the Padres beating the Guardians. You got it down?
in the worst World Series since
worst ratings
1900.
World Series ever.
There'll be 87 people watching it, and it's going to be like Dr. Zizmore's hemorrhoid cream commercials at night because nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah,
nothing.
I think that Guardians are the only team. Quite frankly, I think the Guardians and the Padres are the only teams that I think could beat the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do agree with you, Soto and Judge can carry the Yankees over any of the other teams. But I don't think they can carry them because I think the Guardians and the Padres have so much depth in their lineups that I don't believe in Torres. I don't believe in Stanton. I don't believe in Volpe. I don't believe in in left fielder. There's too many holes in the lineup, and then the bullpen
I
scares the
see a
bejesus.
lot. I don't disagree. I'm hoping that
Right.
I'm
I mean,
hoping
I know who I'm rooting for. There's no doubt who I'm rooting for. But
it'll be a great. I'm excited. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm peppy. I'm bursting with love. I want to
thanks,
thank you.
Felix.
I want to thank you, my friend. I want to thank all of our guests for participating. It was a good bunch today. And Mr. Shale, that's Mr. Baron von Mummenschatz to you.
Why isn't it Dr. Baron von Mummel?
Dr. von Mummenschatz. Thank you very much, folks.
So we should go back to Thursday. I think we're back on Thursday next week. We'll figure it out,
Thursday
depending
again.
on the
Thank you.
Yankee
Sorry
schedule.
about that.
We'll work around the Yankee schedule, and maybe we'll talk this week, and maybe we'll have some special shows if something stupid happens in the Yankee games, which would be Kramer coming into pitch. Adios, everybody.